is going on, y'all? Y'all already know what it is. And if you don't, my name is Christopher Life Willers, and this is the Stay Free Show. I get up here every single day. Whenever I can, I talk about prison because in 2003, I was sentenced to 144 years in prison. True story. Oh my goodness, as I always say, I make no light of it. I never get up here asking for sympathy. I do get up here asking for understanding, and not just on my behalf, and really not on my behalf at all at this point, but it's really on behalf of my brothers and sisters that are behind the wall that are unable to be a voice for themselves. It's on behalf of the family members that have a loved one that's incarcerated, that feel alone, that feel like they don't have support, that are unable to be a voice for themselves. That's what I'm asking for understanding on behalf. Anybody that sees me anywhere when it comes to content, anything, I'm trying to educate. I'm not glorifying. I'm not here telling war stories just to tell them and run up the views. I'm telling them so you can get an understanding of how serious prison is. A very real thing, very traumatic experience, and unfortunately, a large amount of people think that it's a game. So much so that they wake up every single day with premeditated thoughts to go play in the streets as if there's no other options, and specifically intently throw away their freedom for long terms, usually 20 years or more. This is what's going on. Somebody woke up today, this morning, knew they were going to get involved in the streets. And before the end of the night, if they're not already, they're sitting in the back of a cop car on their way to jail. It's a very scary thing, man. I remember when I first got locked up. And like I told you in the beginning of this thing, in 2003, I got sentenced to 144 years. But I remember the day that they put cuffs on my wrists. You understand what I'm saying? I was working at Walmart Tire and Lube, changing tires, minding my business, but not really because I knew the hammer was coming down. I knew that eventually they were going to lock me up. I knew this. The detectives actually made it a point after my cousin had been indicted to tell me, hey, we're going to lock you up. I also knew that I wasn't going to run, and I also knew that I was just going to wait until it was time for them to come get me. And one day, when I came back from work, I'm driving my mother home from work. She worked at the same Walmart I did. We lived with my grandmother at the time. And when I get up to the door, my grandmother screamed, hey, what are you doing? What did you do? Oh my goodness, the police were here looking for you. And I knew immediately, I was going to turn myself in. I knew that. Some people be like, "Damn, why would you turn yourself in?" Because I was tired, man. I don't know if any of you, and hopefully you haven't, ever been facing like a substantial amount of time or trouble with the law or anything like that. It's very tiring. Even if you're on the run or not, just waiting, anticipating getting locked up, anticipating the detectives to come get you, the police to come to your house one day, one evening, whatever it was. This specific time, they came while I was at work. They filed the indictment. Grand jury meets once a month. Jesus, you already know Jesus is king, man. But the grand jury typically meets on a Monday without you being in the room, and they decide if they're going to indict you or not. And they do. If they got enough, they're going to indict you, and that's it. And when they came to my grandmother's house, I knew immediately that I was going to turn myself in. And I looked at my mother and I said, "Hey, oh, we got more OG skits up. Y'all go check out the page, man. We got some good stuff." Excuse me, Brazil. I see you in the building. But I looked at my mother immediately. I said, "Hey, you got to take me to the police station." And she was confused because you got to understand, I was the type of young person or whatever it was. I didn't live I didn't live a crazy life from what it looked like. I was good at living on both sides of the fence, and maybe some of y'all can relate to this. I was great with family, great in community, all that, but every now and then the other side of me, my other life, man, I was wilding out. I was making decisions, getting myself involved in things that I shouldn't have, taking chances I shouldn't have, taking risks I shouldn't have. Junior, what's good, nephew? So I found myself in a situation where now my mother's driving me to the police station, and my nerves are they're so messed up. I said, "Ma, can you stop at the gas station?" And she stopped at the gas station. I got a Sprite, and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to, and I'm getting on the payphone. Back then, 2003, they still had payphones. And I get on the payphone. I call my girlfriend at the time, right? And basically, I'm telling her I'm gone. And in your mind as a young person at 19, I'm not going to say, I know some people got married at 18, 19. You think certain things are going to be forever. And this was like a really tough call for me to make at the time. I got to call my girlfriend, tell her I know I'm not coming home. Like, I know I was supposed to come pick you up later to go to the movies, but I'm going to the police station and I know it's serious. That was essentially the conversation we had. I didn't, get into all the specifics because I was on the phone. At least I was wise enough, even though I was on a payphone, but still, I'm like, yo. And finally, I muster up enough courage to get into the truck again, and my mother drives me the rest of the way to the police department. As we're walking through the parking lot, she's asking me, what happened? What did you do? Oh my God. She doesn't really fully believe that I'm going to end up getting locked up. A lot of parents, mothers, they don't believe that, not their son, you know? And here I go. We walk into the police department and my nerves are shot. Hopefully none of you have ever had to turn yourself into law enforcement. Let me tell you something. You get a feeling in your stomach, man, when you know you're about to hand yourself over to custody or whatever they say. Like you're handing your freedom off right here. And when I walked up to the desk in the police department, I said, "Hey, my name's Christopher Willers. I'm here." Before I could even say I'm here to turn myself in, the detectives came out the back door like it was just like the greatest bust in the history of the planet Earth. Like, oh, I got me one. I'm here. You didn't have to come look for me. I mean, you did. You could have just came to my job, but you came one place and whatever. Now I'm here, right? No big deal. I mean, big deal, but not for the type of spectacle and show that you're putting on in the lobby, acting like I'm Al Capone or somebody. I'm not. Again, I'm not one of these people that get up here and try to glorify or amplify or like stretch my story. I wasn't. I was a young kid that drove his cousin and his people to a place one night, and the rest was history. So they cuffed me behind my back. You know what I'm saying? And when they cuffed me behind my back, I remember this feeling of desperation, this feeling that I lost control, this feeling that it was over with. And you got to understand, I'm in the Commonwealth of Virginia at the time, and I knew immediately. I'm like, I did prior to. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna get in that much trouble. But when they're putting the cuffs behind me, they're like, yo, you got robbery charges. I'm like, what? Like, I didn't think of it like that. I didn't know that I could get charged with the same crime as the people that actually went into the dwelling. I'm thinking that I would be okay. Worst case scenario, like a slap on the wrist or whatever. Oh no. And my mother's screaming. She's saying my name, Chris. She's upset. She just wants to give me a hug. I can't hug her back, and they won't even. They grab me on my arms while I'm cuffed. I'm like, yo, can I just hug my mom? And finally, they let me walk to her. I can't hug her because I'm already cuffed, but she hugs me, and it's an ill feeling when you make your mother cry because of the decisions you make, right? And you can't console her. And I'm my mother's only child, right? And that was the last breath of freedom in that moment, because immediately they grabbed me again. They brought me behind the door. Once I was behind the door, it's like a whole shift in energy. You go from being free to now you are locked up. You're locked up. It's over with. And if you're not familiar with the process as to what happens, I mean, it can go a few different ways, but no matter what, your rights are read, or hopefully they've been read by then. If they're not, you may have a way out. But yo, they're gonna tell you immediately what you've been indicted for. They're gonna give you your sheets. They're gonna fingerprint you. They're gonna do some things. They're gonna process you into the system. Immediately, you are processed into the justice system. Immediately, you have a number. Immediately, you are able to be identified within the system that is. And let me tell you something. Once you're there, it's hard to get out. I don't know if you ever do. Okay. It's important to understand, yo, even if prison doesn't necessarily pertain to me, maybe I should check out what this conversation is about, because I got a loved one that's out there playing around, or I got a young one that's out there playing around. To my parents, you can't always see it. We live in a very specific or time, a unique time where the kids that are going to prison aren't necessarily the ones that are in the hood. Nowadays, you got kids that grow up in 3,000 square foot houses in the suburbs with two parents, and the bus comes to the end of the driveway and they still willing to jump out there. You got to be vigilant with these kids, man. There's something that's attracting them to this lifestyle, and they're not able to think it all the way through. But then again, it's not just the younger people either, man. You got older people too that are throwing it out. If y'all got questions, man, please put them in the chat. I should have definitely included, man. I was getting into that story and just reminded myself those moments of being incarcerated, man. Those initial moments. Um, if y'all got questions, I definitely want to answer those. That's why I get up here every single day when I can. I want to provide support the same way y'all support the content and everything else, man. I'm well aware that many of us are impacted by incarceration and not many of us have support. So that's what I'm up here doing, man. Somebody just said, Junior said, just got out of juvenile detention with an ankle monitor on pretrial, any device. Hey, man, if you're on pretrial, if you're getting ready to go to court, be proactive in what you're doing, right? That means if you don't have a job, get a job quick. Don't quit your job. I don't care how stressed you are. Volunteer in the community. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you get a some type of charge like possession, yo, go anything, any charge, go find some places and spaces to volunteer and be proactive. You know what I'm saying? Go take some classes, some courses. If it's something to deal with an altercate, take anger management. If it's dealing with driving, take a drive. Be proactive. Show people that you're trying to rehabilitate yourself before you even go to court. Don't just wait. Don't just sit there on pretrial. Don't just chill. You know what I'm saying? Get active. Be proactive in representing yourself. Show them that you're like, yo, I understand I messed up. I'm going to do X, Y, Z so y'all don't have to really, you know what I'm saying, put me in prison for 1,000 years. Get an anger management. Get a therapist. Whatever it is, show them that you're trying to do something prior to your incarceration, man. And hopefully they give you less. You understand what I'm saying? Thomas, I see you, man. Beto unit. My step pops was in Beto unit. Down there in Texas, man. Stoner, I see you, man. It's a very unique situation incarceration is, man. That's why I like to get up here and speak about the trauma. It's almost, and I don't knock nobody. It is what it is. A lot of people that when they talk about it, it's like entertaining. I try to entertain too because I want to educate people, and you can't always do that bland and dry. You know what I'm saying? I try to find different ways because it's different audiences and different people that's impacted or not. You know, you can't get through to everybody the same, but at the end of the day, this is a very serious thing. The trauma that's endured that people face while incarcerated is no joke. And many of us end up we in the streets or on our way to prisons, etc., because we've been exposed to trauma that's never been processed in the first place. We've never healed from some of the same things that's causing us to fail as an adult that we were experiencing as a child. A lot of times, man, we went through things when we were kids, yo, and we haven't forgiven ourselves or what we carry as baggage or these whatever it is into our adult years, and it becomes to a point where we can be triggered down a path that we don't need to be, man. But I digress. Somebody said, "How'd you get out of 144?" I didn't get out of 144. I wish I got out of 144. I got sentenced to 144 years in prison, all suspended but 19. Why do you always say 144? Because that's my sentence. They set it for a reason. That's the number that exists. You know what I'm saying? You have probation, you have good behavior. When you're released from physical prison, it does not mean that you still don't have a number over your head or that you're 100% free. So 144 years, all suspended but 19. I had to do 85% of 19 years in the Commonwealth of Virginia. I ended up doing a little bit more, 16 years, 11 months. My initial release date when I got locked up in 2003 was August 2019, and I pushed it back to January 2020. I got into some things. Very hard not to get into some things while you're in prison for 17 years. You know what I'm saying? If you've been locked up, if you had a loved one that's locked up, put some green in the chat or let me know, man. I always like to see. And where you from, if you don't mind, man. We got people from all over the world. We had Brazil up in here a little bit earlier, man. New Zealand's always in the building. Got plenty of love from Australia. You know what I'm saying? All that, man. The reality of it all, though, man. I see Houston in the building, man. Alicia said, I'm fighting for justice for my husband who was sentenced by a dirty judge who has since been fired. Yo, you know how often that occurs? Where like 10 years later, like they find out like a judge was like crooked or didn't like a certain type of people, or you know what I'm saying? Or law enforcement. They're finding some police officers that had planted evidence on people for years. And people have done years in prison behind this. If not, and then you can't get that time back. This is why the justice system is what it is. It's scary. Anytime there's a human component, and we gotta have a human component, but that leaves room for flaws. That leaves room for corruption and evil and manipulation and whatever it is, unfairness. You know what I'm saying? Gave him 50 years. He's on year 20. Thank you, Papa man. Do you know how many loved ones have been waiting 10, 15, 20 plus years for their people to come home? I want to take a time out just to acknowledge y'all. Um, Everybody does not wait or stand by the side of their loved one that goes to prison. And every time I post about this, people tear me up in the comments, right? But I never felt obligated to interact with anyone from my family that never checked on me while I was on the inside. Plenty of people like, yo, that's your fault. You put yourself in prison. All right, cool. I got that. 17 years I'm in prison, not one stamp, not one visit, not one letter. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like not one like zero policy, like 0% with effort. I don't feel obligated. I don't, right? Very few people stuck by my side. Shout out to my mother, went nowhere. Ever. Ever. Shout out to Mom Dukes, man. You know what I'm saying? But we got to acknowledge the people that don't ever go. They stick by their people's side because they're going through the trauma too. They're exposed to incarceration too. They're impacted by it too. They feel anxiety from prison too. Maybe not directly, but indirect. Could be from the things they hear, the things they see on TV, and then they get to thinking about their loved ones at home and or at prison, and it's a whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Orman said, I got sobriety course starting Monday. I have a roofing company I run off and am working on money builders. That's what's up, man. Shout out to you, man. Anybody needs sobriety support, man, I'm here too, man. I'm definitely in a space. Shout out to my team at Believe Detox. We out there. If y'all trying to meet me in Granada Hills, next to Beverly Hills in California, I'd love to meet you and talk about sobriety, man, and help somebody get back, regain control of their life, man. Hefe said, my lady did her time and lost everything because she wouldn't become yeah. A lot of women in prisons because of that, because they wouldn't testify. I'm not saying that they should have or should. I'm just saying a lot of women ended up getting into a situation, a legal situation behind a love interest, and then while they were on the, they decided to keep it true, probably truer than a lot of the dudes that do it, that end up catching cases, and now they're sitting in prison with no support, no life, no connection, and lost everything. It's very unfortunate. Some of us were definitely saved by the brothers inside, Papo. So exactly why am I trying to get an appeal on his 50-year sentence? He's almost done 10 years. Got to fight. Keep going. Keep going. Because here's the thing. If you have a loved one that's incarcerated, right? Exhaust all remedies for their freedom through the legal system. There's potential avenues and pathways that y'all may not see and know. Thick Khan say, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Don't give up though. See what's out there. Make an appointment with a lawyer. Research whatever it is, but don't give up. Don't just wait. You know what I'm saying? Work while you wait, if anything. Amir said, respect that you don't glorify time and that you try to show the reality of it. I have to. I feel obligated, man. I feel obligated to the utmost because you know, to each his own. When it comes to creating content centered around prison, I have a specific purpose and reason that I do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's really it. So, you know, I'm trying to really tell the story in a way that people know. Alicia said, my spouse is losing hope. I've never stopped fighting for freedom for him. He's lost so many people. Very hard in prison. The longer you're in there, the more people you lose. The more people you lose, y'all. I always tell when I have an opportunity to speak to the young people, I'm like, yo, it's deeper than just the concrete and steel. It's the things that happen. Like time doesn't stop. You'll grow gray and old in there. But more specifically, the people that you love, not every single one of them will still be breathing air when the time you come home. It's a very serious thing. Being in the street sometimes, and we try to make it noble, but at the same time, it's kind of a selfish thing because you put yourself in a position where it can take you away from people that need you or are going to need you at some point in life. Just because your value is 5 cents today, quote unquote, in a person's life, it doesn't mean that it's not going to be worth $1 tomorrow. Give yourself time. But it's scary, man. You lose a lot of people, man. Somebody's we network and said if anybody knows a good appeal lawyer in Texas, I may actually message me. I don't know if she's an appeal. I know she's a good attorney though. I watched her be the individual's M charge. Warren said brother was sentenced 30, got out at 8. Amen. I can't tell him I'm fighting still because he will get discouraged. Wow, I would suspect that he would be encouraged if you told him you were fighting for his freedom. You know what I'm saying? Harmeet, I appreciate that. Toby, glad you made it home, man. Thank you for the support. VN said, yes, mine's lost his grandma, his sister, Amber. Yo, I lost my grandmother, my father, my little brother. I can relate. I get it. Very hard losing people on the inside, man. Orman said, I'm 22 with 3D. Still believe in me, gave me the chance to change felony and misdemeanor. Man, take your chance and run with it, man. Take your chance and run with it because I'm going to tell you something. Judges don't always give you chances, and they definitely don't often. They barely give you 2 chances, I'll tell you that. They give you 3. I wouldn't keep, man. So take your chance, take your opportunity. Again, if anybody out there is struggling, they trying to take that step into sobriety, message me, man. I'd love to connect. I got a support group. What's good? I appreciate that, yo. El Chupapi. I appreciate that, man. But I got a support group. I actually facilitate at 6 p.m. Eastern every Saturday. I'm really excited about that. Getting ready to do that in a few minutes. And I'm also connected to a detox in California, man. I'm meeting people in California and walking through the process. And I've been privileged with the honor of connecting with people. They love the content. They like, yo, I'm trying to take that step into sobriety. We get into Cali. You know, they get with the team at Believe. And, man, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, man, because we're helping people regain control of their life. We're not doing it for them. They are. But it's important, I think, on that note, to get connected to people that can motivate you and inspire you, because as much as people like, bro, I wouldn't have did, no, this is all you. I appreciate that you're motivated by my story, but please believe I had to be motivated by somebody's story myself. I needed somebody to inspire me. You know what I'm saying? El Chupapi, I appreciate that, man. Dan, yeah, you already know, man, my 29 winners. The OG Chronicles is we getting serious, man. Chino, I appreciate that. We getting serious, man. I promise you, we getting serious, man. Shout out to Chino, man. Just had to send you the follow. Make sure y'all Chino 700, man. Show love. We over here, man. I'm trying to tell you. If you got an opportunity to tell your story, I want to encourage you to tell your story. If you got an opportunity to be a voice, an example, I want to encourage you to do that. I want to encourage you to know that you don't have to be at a certain place, because sometimes society will have you messed up in the head and judging yourself off stereotypes and things that aren't really real, things that are seen on social media. You know what I'm saying? As somebody that's on social media, I'll tell you that a lot of it ain't what you understand me? That's why I'm grateful for the lane I'm in. I get to be me. There's no expectation that I got to keep. I'm speaking about the things that I went through. I've got some successes since I've been home. I've been home 6 years. I've opened a school. You can look me up. You know what I'm saying? I've been in the news a few times. I travel full time as a motivational speaker. I'm getting ready to head to Ohio Thursday, Friday. I had to double check that. To speak at a prison, London Correctional Facility. I'm excited about that. Just came from Vegas where I met out there with my brother Amir and the Second Lab Media, and we did the Visitation Room podcast. I've got some successes. I got a successful nonprofit, the Life Unit Inc. You know, we do reentry, intervention, recovery work. We even got a proclamation. We got our own day in South Florida, I promise you. June 23rd, which is my birthday. But I get to I get to just be me. You know what I'm saying? I never once fed into the narrative that somebody was putting out here pumping on the internet, you know, unless I felt like it was real. I was watching Wallow some years back, and I remember when he had just got out, he was at his grandma's and he put the money on the bed and he's like, "Oh, I'm starting with it." I felt like that was very real, and I'm pretty sure it was. I would pay attention to people like that on the internet. But all the other stuff, no. I needed to see the struggle stories. I needed to see people that started off at ground zero and found a way up out of there. That's what I'm motivated by. That's what moves me. You know what I'm saying? Do I know Rockin' Red? Yo, you know what's so crazy, Phil? I trained with Rockin' Red, or Rockin' Red trained me. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy, man. I was not at Coffeewood. I was at Haynesville, receiving Sussex 2, back to Haynesville, back to Sussex 2, Greensville, St. Bride's, Haynesville Camp 17, Nottoway Work Center. Never made it to Coffeewood. And it was by the house kind of, man. Baskerville, Lawrenceville, never made it to either one of those. My brother's on Baskerville now. Shout out to the VA, man. VA, my brothers came home, man. Chino, you already know, man. Hey, gotta be motivated. That's what I came home with too, man. I had $1,000, man. I mean, I had support though. I had a wife, but as far as what I had in my pocket, she didn't have much. We are definitely we had to get it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of VA people. Somebody said they got a loved one just left Baskerville. Somebody said they got a loved one in Greensville. Okay, Sid. Greensville is off the chain right now. I went to Greensville. I don't know. I want to say like September. I want to say. And right when we got there was like 5 ambulances. We was headed to S3. Was we headed to S3? We was headed to one of those units, S3, S1, one of them units, to go speak. Which I love speaking in the prisons. I have real conversation. I do not play around. I do my conversations in there like a panel, like a Q&A. I have them brothers ask me, "What do you want to know about freedom? What do you want to know about this headache, this stress? What do you want to learn how to do? Let's have a conversation." But man, when we first got up there on Greensville, there was about 5 ambulances. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Rockin' Red was the man. Shout out to Rockin' Red. Hopefully he's still around, man. Hopefully he's still around. He was definitely training us. I'm trying to think where was we at. I think we was on Sussex. Sussex 2. Yeah, shout out to Jesse, man. We've actually spoke. We're both keynote speakers at the Virginia College Consortium. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Greensville. I think my mother stopped visiting me. No, she stopped visiting me at Sussex. And I wasn't mad. Because the stuff your people get exposed to in some of those visitation rooms or when they go is out the chain, man. It's unnecessary. Why they do certain things to our people, I'll never know. But I tell you this. When my people was like, "Yo, I can't keep coming," I understood. I respected it. And it was no big deal. I was like, I get it. I don't want you exposed to the trauma either. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. But I see I got a lot of VA people in the building. That's what's up, man. If y'all got any more questions, man, please put them to the board. I'm getting ready to hop on my support group, man. Every Saturday I do a recovery support group. Sunday is my only day off for the week, sort of. I don't think you ever take a day off, but so I'm excited because once 7 o'clock comes, I can sit back, I can put my feet up. You know what I'm saying? I'm a first-time dad at 42. My son is getting bigger. Chill with the wife until I fall asleep 14 minutes later. You know what I'm saying? Sid said he started at Wallens Ridge, Sussex, then Greensville. He going on a warrior path right there. Wallens Ridge to Sussex, then Greensville. That's like a warrior's path. That's like I did my time in VA. I salute you. Sussex too is closed. Somebody told me they're opening back up or they're doing something. I don't know if that's true. I always tell you if I know or don't know. I don't know about that one. That might have been. But they need to close a lot of things. They need to revamp some things, man. Uh before I go for this one, man. Thank you as always for bringing the questions. Thank you as always for the support. Thank you as always for interacting with the content. The content, it doesn't just support my message, it increases the chance that it gets to somebody that may need to hear it. I make every single piece of content, every single thing that I do, every single piece of message live, etc. Anytime I get up here is geared, fashioned, and specifically with intent aimed at motivating people to stay out of prison or not to go in the first place if they've never been at all, not to go back if you have been. Everything is geared to show people that they can survive, that they can elevate, that they can have more than they ever thought if they're willing to overcome. You got to make a decision though, just like I did when I was sitting in the cell, solitary confinement back in 2012. The month was May. That's when I made the decision. I remember. That's when my life shifted. When the light switch, I turned it on myself. You got to turn your own light switch on. Darkness is all around. You'll live in that your whole life unless you choose to put on the light switch. Once you do, you see stuff you can't unsee. You'll remember, and it's hard, even if you try to turn it off again. But I want everybody, man, to make a decision to change their life for the better. I want everybody to understand how serious things are. I want people to understand that life is precious, time is short, it's not guaranteed, right? And you owe it to yourself to live good, man, to the best of your ability. Oh, I don't have $1 million. I don't either. But you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to take an off day and be present with my family. And I'm grateful for that because I remember what I went through when I was sitting in prison in solitary confinement, daydreaming with a blanket over my head about what it would be like to have a family. You understand what I'm saying? It's really serious, man. The reality of for so many people that they'll never come home, they'll never be able to experience a thing called life. They'll never be able to experience a lot of the struggles that we're going through once we came home. But the other thing is some of us did make it home and we are blessed with opportunity. It's not about comparing our journey to our people that are still behind the wall, but it's understanding and putting things in perspective of just how grateful we really should be and how blessed we really are, man. A second chance is never guaranteed, but we got one. Some of us got a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth chance if you like me. So y'all already know what it is, man. I appreciate y'all. I respect y'all, and I value your time because once it's gone, you can't get it back. An OG told me that. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you see me live, man, make sure you join me. Make sure you subscribe, like, follow, all that good stuff. Whatever it is, man. Lock in with me, hit the notification so you know when I go, and make sure you spread the word too, man. I appreciate each and every one of you that spreads the word and lets people know the type of content that I'm doing, the type of support that I'm providing here in this space, man. I really